Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is Cody here. I got to talk about a lot of things on this decode. This is kind of a culmination. I've been noticing all the events that are happening in this time frame are all tied together, and they're all tied to the they're all tied to the World Economic Forum, the Georgia Guidestones, um, the Atlanta Georgia connection. Anyway, I'm going to go through a timeline here, and I'm going to set up the timeline, and then I'm going to show you how the Gematria is just obviously clear how they're coding all these events together at the same time. And to me, it's quite mind blowing because, it's if you guys haven't seen in my last videos, you guys know that it's just all looking like this time period that we're in. It's just a very big time period. So, anyway, let me go through here, and we're going to start by talking about Skull and Bones, right? So, Skull and Bones was fraternal order, or it's if you look here, it's the Order 322, right? The Brotherhood of Death. President George W. Bush was in it. Many presidents have been in the secret society Skull and Bones. It's in Connecticut at Yale University. But basically, the main thing that you need to know here is the 322, which most of you already know. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but just focus on the 322. Notice that the Georgia Guidestones, right? The Georgia Guidestones are 90 miles north of Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. And the reason that's big is because the Georgia Guidestones, as you guys can see, they were established on 322, like the Order of Skull and Bones is 322. They were just established on 322, 1980 in Elbert County, Georgia, right? All right. So another thing I want to throw in here that I don't have in the document is, well, here's the Guidestones. Basically, it has a list of guidelines to keep the human population under 500 million, and also a bunch of other things too, like keeping everyone a certain fitness and basically survival of the fittest type guidelines. Reminds me of the Nazis' view on the world, right? Human population planning is what it says. But anyway, here's the Guidestones, and I want you guys to know that 90 miles north of Atlanta are where the Guidestones are located. Now, the Guidestones were founded on March 22nd, 1980. And if you look, you're going to see where CNN, the news station, it was founded 71 days later on June 1st, 1980, 90 miles away. Okay? So it was founded 71 days, essentially, after the Guidestones, and it was only 90 miles from Atlanta, the Guidestones are. So again, very interesting connection there. There's more I can do looking into this, but this is not the point of this presentation. So I just want you guys to know that as we go through. Anyways, the Guidestones. As I write here, these guidelines seem very similar to the Nazi Aryan race concept, and I state again that it's 71 days after the Guidestones CNN was founded. Now, we have another German, okay? Just think about the Nazis and the Germans in this as we go through, because they are a big part of this. Klaus Schwab, the leader of the World Economic Forum, he announced his Great Reset on 6/3/2020. The Great Reset, basically what I think they're really meaning by that is the Guidestones, essentially. So, and again, he's German. Notice that Elbert County, Georgia, where the Guidestones are founded. Again, I showed this in my prior videos, but I'm just going to summarize it. It's obviously a direct match with the World Economic Forum in the first two ciphers. Okay, so not a coincidence, guys. Elbert County, Georgia, World Economic Forum. Okay. Now I want to talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger, another Austrian/German, right? He was born in Austria, just like Hitler was. He was the 38th governor of California. I'm going to get to the 38 here in a minute. Okay. But his father was also, Schwarzenegger's father was also a Nazi, right? Right. So his father was a Nazi. And Arnold's middle name is Alois. Okay. And Hitler's dad's name was Alois. Okay. So they were born in Austria, both Hitler and Schwarzenegger, and they both have Arnold's middle name was Hitler's dad's name. So again, not a coincidence in my mind. During the Super Bowl, there was a Super Bowl commercial with Arnold in it. He plays Zeus, right? He plays Zeus, and he knocks out the power, right? And the whole thing about Klaus Schwab is about a cyber pandemic where a cyber attack knocks out the power. Okay, so again, these two people are tied together. Now, remember, Arnold's most famous movie in 1984, The Terminator, okay, which is exactly what the Guidestones would require in order to reduce the population enough to fit within the guidelines of what it requires. So that's the Terminator, right? It just makes so much sense. Terminating a good portion of the population, right? Now, another thing I want to mention about Georgia this year, it's not a coincidence that all the Georgia teams are winning. You had the Atlanta Braves win the World Series. You had the Georgia Bulldogs win the college national championship in football. You had Matthew Stafford, okay, the quarterback for the St. Louis Rams who won the Super Bowl. He played in college for the Georgia Bulldogs, okay? Again, not a coincidence in my mind, just definitely not, okay? Now, that was on 2/13. The Rams won. Stafford and the Rams won, and that was the same day that Arnold had his commercial. Again, another tie between the World Economic Forum, all these Georgia teams, and Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Guidestones. They're all tied together. Okay. Now, the cyber pandemic, in my mind, correlates to this whole Terminator thing, knocking out the power and trying to reduce the population. Okay. Now let's fast forward to this month, and I want to bring all these events together. Okay, the first event I want to bring together is you. Okay, you had Pi Day, which was 3/14. Okay, but then you had the Ides of March, which is a Roman holiday for paying debts. Okay, most of you guys know it's called the Ides of March. Okay, now that the day after that, on 3/16, there was a cryptocurrency that released called Apecoin, with the acronym APE as in ape. Okay, let me just go show you. Now we have the Skull and Bones. Remember, Skull and Bones is 3/22, so March 22nd, and this Apecoin was released just just 6 days before Skull and Bones Day, right? But let me just type in Apecoin so you guys can see. I covered this in another video. Let me see if I can pull the images just so you can see how it's a clear tie. Notice it's the skull head, just like Skull and Bones, right? It's a very clear tie. Not to mention the whole symbolism with apes, right? Planet of the Apes. I'm sure there's symbolism there too, but I just wanted to show you guys the picture of this. This came out on 3/16, okay? And I'm going to show you how all the Gematria ties in at the end of this video. But anyway, you had Apecoin come out on 3/16. Then you had on 3/17, you had St. Patrick's Day, right? And I'm going to show you how that Gematria ties into Apecoin in a little bit, right? And then I talk about the Skull and Bones here. But then remember, the Guidestones were erected on 3/22. Okay, then this year, a couple days ago on 3/21, 2022, one day before 3/22, which is the 42nd anniversary of the Guidestones, by the way, a Chinese plane crashed, killing 132 on 3/21. So just an anagram of the 3/21. That same day, Matthew Thomas Ryan, okay, Matthew Thomas Ryan. Now I want you to focus on the Matthew, like Matthew Stafford, who won the Super Bowl this year, who played for the Georgia Bulldogs, and he in college. And now this guy is Matthew Thomas Ryan. And let me show you Matt Ryan. They call him Matt Ryan, but his full name is Matthew Thomas Ryan. If I can get it in here, guys. Matthew Ryan or Matt Ryan. Okay. Matt Ryan. He played for, of course, guys, none other than the Atlanta Falcons. Again, a Georgia. Okay. And notice that he was born in 1985. That's going to be big here in a little bit when I start talking about the Gematria. But notice that he was traded to the Indianapolis Colts, and he was traded on the day before Skull and Bones Day. Okay, so he was traded on the same day that airplane crashed. He was traded from the Atlanta Falcons to the Indianapolis Colts. Now, remember, again, it goes back to Georgia Guidestones. Matt Ryan's nickname, okay, is Matty Ice. Matty Ice, okay? Because I guess he's cold, or he's cool under pressure. I guess that's kind of the reason for it. But anyway, after he got traded to the Colts Twitter, they posted the phrase "icy conditions ahead." Now I'm going to show you in the Gematria how that ties in a minute, okay? At the very end of this video, I'm going to just bring in all the Gematria. I'm just laying out the foundation for you guys. Now, this symbolism to me also reminds me of the body when it gets cold after it dies. Icy conditions ahead. What kind of warning is that, right? Now, I should mention that Matt Ryan was traded from the Atlanta Falcons to the Colts 2 days before Colts famous quarterback Peyton Manning's birthday, which was yesterday, 3/24/22, the same day as WWE's Undertaker, his birthday. Okay, and the Undertaker is being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame on 4/1/2022, right before WrestleMania 38. Okay. Now, The Undertaker, if I scroll down, is known as the Dead Man. Again, coming back to the whole ties in with the Skull and Bones, the Apecoin, Matt Ryan, icy conditions ahead, right? The same day that he was traded is the same day Peyton Manning was born. So the Undertaker and Peyton Manning had the same birthday. Not a coincidence. They were, that same day, the Denver Broncos Stadium in Colorado caught fire. Okay. Now, Peyton Manning not only played for the Colts for most of his career, but then he moved to Denver. Okay, so the same day that his birthday, the Denver, one of the teams he played for, the Denver Broncos Stadium, caught on fire. Now remember, Matty Ice was traded a couple days before that to Manning's former team, the Indianapolis Colts. Okay. Again, Manning has the same birthday as Undertaker. Now we bring in Madeleine Albright, the former U.S. Secretary of State who died. She was under Secretary of State under Bill Clinton. She died on 3/23, the day after Skull and Bones, and the day before Undertaker and Peyton Manning's birthday on 3/24. Now let me just, most of you guys know this, but let me just show you why in the Gematria all these things are tied. First of all, you have murder equals 83 and 38, and you have death equals 38. Okay? Arnold Schwarzenegger was the 38th governor of California. Colorado, where Peyton Manning played for his second team, Denver, that caught on fire the day of his birthday, is the 38th state. The WrestleMania coming up, where The Undertaker is being inducted, is WrestleMania 38. Colorado and Germany, both 83 and 38. Notice, The Undertaker's nickname, the Dead Man, 38. Madeleine Jana Corbel Albright, 83. Again, not complicated, guys. All 83s and 38s, all these events are tied. Okay? Now let me bring in another thing that has to do with dead. That's the TV show The Walking Dead. And they came out, they're currently in their final season, the 11th season, and their next episode to come out is The Rotten Core. That's the name of the episode. It's going to come out on Sunday, 3/27, which is in a couple days. And that's the 279th day of the year. Okay? Arnold Alois Schwarzenegger, as you guys can see down here in this picture, equals 279. Remember, the day that this episode's coming out, The Rotten Core, The Walking Dead, 3/27, is the 279 days left in the year. Okay? And Arnold Alois Schwarzenegger happens to equal 279. Now let me bring in another thing. The WrestleMania 38 theme song for the show is called Sacrifice by The Weeknd. Okay? All right. Now notice that in the begin, if you guys go look at this song, you're going to know at the very beginning they say that you are now listening to 1.035 Dawn FM, like a radio station. Just go watch the video, guys. It's crazy. It's crazy, the symbolism. But notice if you type in 1.035, it's a match to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, his full name. Not only that, but the name of the song, Sacrifice, if you type in The Weeknd, Sacrifice, it's a 68, just like the Georgia Guidestones. Again, not a coincidence. I was just tying Arnold Schwarzenegger with the World Economic Forum, with Klaus Schwab, with the Georgia Guidestones. Okay? I just showed you all these other events that connected, right? And just wait till I show you the rest of the Gematria and how all these events have almost the same Gematria. Okay? So that's all I have in this slide. Now, I want to go over to the Gematria I have pulled up. Okay, I want to just go through all of these and help you guys understand how clear this is. Okay, the first thing I want you guys to know, remember, Skull and Bones, Secret Society equals 166 and 185. Okay, a one world order equals 166 and 185, which is exactly what the Secret Society and the Georgia Guidestones are all about. Okay, the Terminator, so Arnold Schwarzenegger, 166 and 185, same. Okay. Now, another thing I want to bring in here is the Undertaker. Okay, the Undertaker, he's known as the Dead Man, but his name is the Undertaker. Annuit Copetus, 166 and 185. Well, if you take this phrase, guys, over to Google and you type in what does it mean, okay? Let's just go show you guys here what this means. It means, if you read right here, guys, it means favors are undertakings. Of course, guys, undertakings like Undertaker, right? So go back over here and notice again, I just showed you how Terminator 166, 185, Secret Society 166, 185, Skull and Bones Day, okay? One World Order 166, 185. The phrase on the dollar bill that means favor our undertakings 166 and 185. St. Patrick's Day, which I outlined in, I just told you about how St. Patrick's Day was on 317, right? A couple days later, Matthew Thomas. Now I just use, this is Matt Ryan's first and middle name. Matthew Thomas equals 185, 166, and 185. And the show, The Walking Dead, that's coming out on the 27th, the name of this episode, 166 and 185. Again, how much more clear can I be? Like, I don't know that I can be any more clear with this. And these are all these events I just told you about have the exact same gematria. You had St. Patrick's Day, you had the Rotten Core, and oh, don't let me forget about Apecoin, guys. Sorry, I forgot about Apecoin. If you type in Apecoin and you use the acronym right after, you're going to get the 185. Notice the 185. I forgot that one. But they all look at this. All 185s. Notice that this even has a 49 too, just like Matthew Thomas, Matt Ryan's first and middle name, and St. Patrick's Day, which it came out the day before St. Patrick's Day. Okay. Notice that these phrases also have a lot of other matches too. It's not just these two, but these are exact direct matches. All right. And now don't forget about this basketball tournament that's been going on right now. The word basketball. What does it equal, guys? Well, of course it equals 185. You have March Madness basketball tournament going on until the 4th, which is the day after WrestleMania. That also equals 185. So all these things equal 185. Now, I want to talk about this Walking Dead episode because this is really going to bring it home. So if you go over to Wikipedia and you type in Walking Dead season 11, all right, and you go in and you find out what the number of the episode is, right? So let me go down to episodes. Okay. Notice that the episode that I just talked about, the last episode that aired was episode 166, was called Warlords. Okay. But the episode that's coming out is 167. Okay. But look at this 166, guys. I mean, I just showed you all these 166. The Rotten Core equals 166. The last episode that aired was the Warlords. Let's see what that equals. I didn't even try that, guys, but if it doesn't equal something, who knows? But, well, look at that, the 38. Didn't I just talk to you guys all in the document about the 38? So, yeah, I mean, of course. And so, again, but just notice the 166, and it just happened to be the 166th episode just last week, and now we're going to have the 167th episode, and the Rotten Core also equals 67. Not to mention it matches all these other events. Now, again, I want to bring in one more thing here. I want to take away most of these ciphers, and I want to type in the phrase that the Colts posted on their Twitter. Okay, they said icy conditions ahead. Icy conditions ahead. 88. Okay. Now, remember, they traded Matt Ryan to the Colts, and the Colts posted this phrase, icy conditions ahead. Now, if you type in Undertaker, Hall of Fame, remember, he's being inducted in the Hall of Fame, he's an 88 too. I mean, come on. So you have these two things tying together as well, because remember, Matty Ice was traded to the Colts a couple days before the Undertaker's birthday, right? Not only that, but the WWE and the Indianapolis Colts are connected, because if you go back up here, you're going to see that the Indianapolis Colts have Pat McAfee used to play for the Indianapolis Colts, but he's now, see here he plays for the Colts, but he's now a WWE announcer. Look, Patrick Justin McAfee, former punter for the Indianapolis Colts, now signed to the WWE. Again, so you have the Colts player who now works for the WWE, and then you have this quarterback, Matty Ice, getting traded to his old team, Pat McAfee's old team, and now he is working for the WWE, who is going to be inducting the Hall of Fame Undertaker right before WrestleMania 38. Okay? Again, not a coincidence. None of this is a coincidence, guys. It's all completely planned out. And I think I've proven to that here in this decode. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked the video. Take care, everyone. I will see you in the next video.